DJI drone ban update. Got that coming up next. Bill, the drone reviewer here. If you like the content of this video or anything on my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. With that, let's begin. The other night, I hosted Rotor Talk Live and was joined by Mr. Marcus Crawford and Mr. Braun Braun. We spent the better part of the evening discussing updates regarding the DJI drone ban. So without any further ado, let's roll that clip in its entirety. We're going to move on to the big thing of the day here. And I spent my lunchtime watching this video from Russ. Okay. And Russ does a great job all the time. All right. I mean, and what he said was, I had found out about this last week. I was wondering what the whole gist of this was. Okay. And it was this, and I want to get the name correctly here. Joe Bartlett. Okay. Now, right. Joe Bartlett is the vice chair of Defense Advocacy Committee of AUVSI, the folks who say they do not support an all-out immediate ban of DJI. He had emailed the state senator in Utah congratulating supporting legislation for the immediate ban of DJI products in that state. Okay. Where did he work? The U.S. House of Representatives is a national security advisor to our good friend in the state of New York. Stefanik. Okay. Elise Stefanik. Okay.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah. There it is right there. Okay.
Russ is connecting the dots, Bill.
The smoking gun.
And the connected dot.
Gun. It's here. Okay. It's unequivocally here. Okay. And well, you know what? I'm going to say this. I'm surprised. And this is just me. Okay. Because this is such a hot topic that like YouTube or Facebook or something isn't canceling these videos. Okay. Seriously, censorship. That's just, I don't know. But no, Russ was spot on with this article. He didn't miss a beat with this. Okay. And I had read about this last week, but he put this in, he put this out in video form here.
Right. And, he also mentioned in the video about the tariffs, the 30% tariff going up 5% a year until it reaches.
I made some notes.
Okay.
Go for it.
And by the way, Ron, this is one of the reasons that I wanted to go live yesterday on Drone Nation. It's one of the subjects we talked about yesterday. But the tariff. Okay, there's already, I believe it's already a 10% tariff on Chinese drones, as it is.
Is that a general tariff for Chinese products or just drones?
I can't say.
Okay.
Ron, I'm not sure, but okay. I know that's where. So there's already a tariff on Chinese drones.
Right.
Now, what they're going to do is start this thing at 30%. So you add 30% on top of that.
Right off the bat.
Right off the bat. And then you add 5% a year till it reaches 50%. Now there's another kicker. So in other words, in 4 years, it would reach 50%, right?
Right.
So there's another kicker though. There's an additional $100 on top of that. And so where does that bring your Mavic 3 Pro if you bought it 4 years from now? Currently $2,200 for the base kit. That takes it up to $3,400. And so you can kind of do that math on
what's that do the bill $799?
Yeah. Well, and then so the name of the bill is the drones for first responders, which is just it's ridiculous because that expires. I think it's either 4 or 5 years. That part of it expires, so then that money doesn't go to them. And also, by the way, a bunch of that money goes.
All that tariff money is going to first responders.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. That so to help them buy drones.
And who keeps that extra $100 at the end?
Okay. She proposes a 30% tariff on all Chinese-made drones with a 5% increase every year until it gets to 50%, plus an additional $100, like you said. She claims the money will help first responders, farmers, infrastructure agents in America purchase American-made drones. Good Lord. What a pile of dung. Good Lord.
So the purpose of tariffs is to give your domestic businesses a chance if they're behind on something or so forth.
Or a little startup America drone companies a fighting chance, huh?
But there is in the enterprise space. There's no question. Right. However, in the consumer space,
what about the consumers?
It doesn't exist. Doesn't exist.
Yeah. Well, and I want to say this, and I want to inject this. Russ is spot on here with all this too, but I think there are multiple players in this, and I think that one is that Adam Bry, okay, from Skydio. All right.
Right.
He's had his hands in the cookie jar on this big time with Elise Stefanik, okay? Because he's the one that's been sounding the alarm about this for like forever, okay? And you know what? Here's what I have to say to Adam, okay? You can't hold, okay? Your company was doing so well, you had to cancel your consumer drone business, okay? Hello? Okay, your company was
because you made a far inferior product to DJI.
I mean, seriously. Okay, here's the other thing, and I know Marcus. I think somebody had asked you this question in one of your videos, or I think it was from last night from Drone Nation. All the components for Skydio come from China.
Well, many of them, yeah,
they're assembled here, but all of them come from China.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the other thing about it is that also critical components can't come from China. After 5 years, at the end of that, it's just a pure ban. You can't get those critical components, or you can't buy a Chinese drone. And what that does is, even to the FPV pilots and stuff, you can't buy a motor, you can't buy a camera, you can't buy a motherboard, you can't buy a GPS unit, you can't, and on and on.
All taking a bet that in those 4 years, that all those things will be made in America affordably and in great supply.
Yeah, I would hope. And thank you, John, for putting that in that link in there. Yeah,
and John, thank you. I was gonna echo that. Okay, go out there, and what it does is, all right, if you haven't done this already, you put your city and your zip code in, and boom, it finds your representative. It's a pre-printed thing. It's all ready to go. All you got to do is fill out your information and boom, send it off. But the other thing that I would do is, I believe it has listed your your congressman's phone number. Call them up beyond the email. When you follow it up with a phone call, okay, you won't talk to them. You'll talk to one of their aides. But you leave a message regarding this, all right? And the more that they get logged, the better.
Right. Hey, in a comment, Richard makes he says they want the drone hobbyist out of the sky. And Russ makes that point in the video that we're talking about here. Russ said he's finally come to agreement that most of this is just to get us out of the sky.
I'm sorry. I think that's kind of, I don't disagree with that entirely, Richard. I just was reading in the chat, Bill. Evidently, we misunderstood what that fellow earlier was saying. Vertical space imaging.
Vertical space imaging.
Yeah. Okay. So we misunderstood what he was saying. So I don't think it's a permanent ban. I think that expires, doesn't it? So with his other channel, he'll be able to.
Yeah, I think it has a limit of like 5 minutes or something. So apologies regarding that. We apologize about that.
Yeah.
So, but and I'm going to continue this discussion here. All right. With our good friends at Specta. Okay, with the Specta Air and the Specta Mini. All right. And
white label drones, as they're called.
Right, they're white label. But and the thing is, okay, these are made in Malaysia. Okay, they're the Cohito Specta is in Hong Kong. That's their headquarters. All right. But these are all made in Malaysia. So
Bill, how fast would it take Ms. Stefanik to grab that bill back and cross out China and write China and Malaysia in it?
Well, I don't know if they would do that, but Ron, I'm willing to bet that a lot of those critical components that they're talking about.
Especially when you explain to Ms. Stefanik that they're trying to backdoor us and bring Chinese technology in through his Malaysia. In other words, we're helping DJI by doing these white label drones. So I'm sure that's not going to make her too happy.
Right.
So you make a good point, Ron. That's what I keep wondering about, like that Anzu drone. No matter what, it may be assembled in Malaysia, but it's going to have Chinese components in there that are going to make it face the same thing. So I don't know.
Michael Wright sent me, Michael, thank you for this article, sent me a great article from the New York Times. Okay. Now I have a filter on, okay, when I read publications. All right. And I have a filter on when I read the New York Times because, and I'm not getting political here, but they have a tendency to be slanted. All right. But I read this with an open eye, and the article was about Anzu Robotics. It was about Randall Warnes. Okay. And that's where I found out, and I read it, that he's technically the only employee of them. Okay. And it talked in detail how, and it showed, there were a lot of pictures in this article. It was a great article. I will say that it was apolitical. It really didn't go one side or another. Okay. It was just telling his story. And it was a very good article. And I take that to heart, and I'm hoping he has success with this. Okay. And see, this is the thing here. This is such a fine line, such a gray area with all of this right now. And I think Russ kind of said it best. He said his gut feeling is that nothing's going to really come of this. Okay. Because, and we've said this before too, this is really saber rattling. Okay. After all, it's an election year. Okay. And I don't know if Stefaniak is going to be running again or not, but some of these are, and some of these congressmen are. And, they need to understand something, when you call up, you are my congressman. Okay. And if you're up for reelection, hello, I may not vote for you. Okay. That throws some work behind it. When
and Bill, these people are supposed to be, a lot of times they're called representatives because they represent the people that voted in. Who, what do you call the people? I'm trying to think of the proper word or whatever.
Obvious.
Yeah. How many of her or anybody's voters are calling that phone up daily and requesting she ban DJI drones? She's doing something that her constituents don't even ask her to do.
Yeah,
at least I bet you
probably
call up about roads and all
there's
sorts
so
of
much
stuff that
more
are real everyday
going on,
or whatever.
taxation,
Who's
inflation.
their phone asking for drones to be banned?
Yeah, there's crime, there's taxation, there's inflation. There's a whole host of stuff, and yet you're concerned about this, and you're concerned.
You're moving all that stuff down the list and moving drones to the top. That isn't even the concern of the average person.
Yeah.
So let's back up just a little bit. You guys remember when we first got the blue drones?
Yeah, Skydio.
Skydio drones. I'm old. Pardon me. When Skydio first came out, hey, I was thrilled because all of a sudden we were going to have a U.S. designed, at least assembled drone in the U.S. available to us as consumers and on the enterprise level.
Yeah.
But boy, did that backfire on us.
Yeah.
That just backfired, and I sure couldn't have predicted it at the time.
But Bill, how about Bill's comment up? How about this? That Randall met with Stefanik for an hour, and she basically ignored him.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And by the way, Randall Warnes is going to be on Captain Ray's show on Thursday night.
Good.
Well, that'll be good.
People like Stefanik, they probably never let the facts get in the way of a good campaign issue or whatever.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this: I've listened to Randall Warnes before. I've watched him, and he's very articulate, very well spoken. He's not one of these. He's not a fly by night kind of guy. Okay,
right.
He's the real deal. All right, and he got the shaft at Autel because he was trying to do things the right way, and Autel didn't want to do things the right way, so they parted ways rather quickly. But he's onto something here with Anzu Robotics, okay? And I personally think, and I'm going to agree 100% with Russ, it is much ado about nothing. But as I say that, okay, I have the Spectre Mini, okay, that's mine. I have the Spectre Air, that's mine, okay. I'm going to be getting extra batteries for both, okay. And if the bottom should fall out, I at least have these two drones, okay, that they're quote unquote made in Malaysia, so they're not made in China, so.
I'm sure we'll still be able to fly our existing DJI drones, but yeah, the whole thing is, what we look forward to is that they keep improving them and making them better.
Mark, you talking about flying our current drones. How if Stefani's bill would pass, how soon do you think we would see that tariff, that 30% tariff? Do you think that could be before the end of the year if it passed?
I suppose it could. I mean, once they put it in the what do they call it, the National Register or whatever, when it gets printed in there, yeah.
So in other words, if the Air Force doesn't get the 30% tariff, grab that drone because it may be your last drone, affordable drone.
Well, I think Koopy made that point the other day that that DJI will be pumping out drones so that they can get in front of the.
What does it mean? Well, we kind of already suspect the Air Force coming. So I wonder if they have a better handle on when if the tariff does get passed, when it will actually go in effect.
See, and I'm going to say this, okay? I think the lobbyists or whoever, okay, is behind all of this. They picked Stefaniak on purpose because it sounds like she's not running for re-election, okay? So she's really a lame duck, okay? I mean, she could literally, do whatever here, all right? Right. And she's the one, she's taken all the heat for this, all right? But yet, she's not running for re-election. So she has really, quote unquote, nothing to lose with all of this when she does all this.
And hers is just a DJI drone tax, or will my Action 5 be have a 30% tariff also?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or my Pocket 4?
Yeah, because it's a DJI product. I don't know the answer to that either, Ron. Let me ask you, Bill. I didn't know that she was not running again. So, will we see her as a lobbyist in next year?
You've been a very wealthy lobbyist, Marcus.
Yeah, she probably. Yeah, it's like, okay, what is it? I don't know if you guys saw the Ocean's movies with Matt Damon and George Clooney and all that. Yeah. Okay, and Al Pacino, or not Al Pacino, but what's his name? Andy Garcia says to them in the first movie, "I'll be real disappointed if I see you pulling up to a dealership pulling out of a dealership in California with a Lamborghini or Ferrari." Okay. And it's the same thing here. Okay. It's Stefaniak, when her last day, she'll go to the Lamborghini dealership and buy their most expensive one in powder blue. I mean, seriously here. I mean, yeah, it's just, there's a lot of money changing hands here, and everybody in the chat is talking about that. And you're right. Okay. It's all about money, but you know what?
I'd like to see Stefaniak shows the emails or stale mails or phone call records of all the people that contacted her saying that DJI drones should be banned. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that list. I bet you, it could all fit in one page, or like will it be 5, 10? I mean,
Adam Bry. No.
Yeah. Maybe some random Karen.
But yeah, and I'm gonna go. I'm really, my gut feeling with all of this is what Russ had to say. It really, this is really just going to be a lot of smoke and mirrors. They're doing a lot of saber rattling here because it's an election year. They're trying to stir the pot up about something. All right, but okay. And I want to go back, and I don't know. Have you guys ever seen the movie about Snowden, about Edward Snowden?
Oh yeah, it's a great film.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Your government does spy on you in case you weren't aware of all that.
Snowden proved it. Yeah.
I mean, it's beyond a shadow of a doubt. There's probably cameras in our televisions that watch us and listen to everything we say and do. So I mean, it's like whatever. But the thing is this, okay. This is really just a lot of saber rattling in an election year. It's drawing a lot of attention to this, and I think it's going to go by the wayside. I really do. Okay, I really think calmer heads will prevail. The bill is going to die a death. It'll be political suicide for them to go ahead and pass this bill, especially regarding first responders. Okay. And what do we do? Okay. Do we file a form with the government, say, well, I have $25,000 worth of DJI drones. Are you going to reimburse me for it?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
What's that word? Is there going to be drone reparations, Bill?
Yeah, drone reparations. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
They gave us.
Can I turn all my drones in and get reparated?
A drone stimulus check. Okay.
Yeah,
for all the
yeah,
drones that we bought.
yeah.
Yeah. And
And
well, of
all
course,
my and let me make my own price of my. My drones are worth a lot of money, Bill. A
yeah.
lot of
Oh yeah.
money.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's going to be, we're going to find out here coming up shortly. And let me put to you this way. You guys brought up a good point with us on the cusp of a DJI Air 4. Okay. If DJI, and I think DJI knows what's going on behind the scenes, they have a lot more insight than we do. All
Oh
right.
yeah.
Because we're not privy.
Well, remember, they're getting all that spy stuff from the Chinese military. They know exactly what's going on.
Oh, you know what?
They have all the drone footage.
You know what? Okay. They don't need drones to get our infrastructure, okay? They have incredible satellites up. They have a space station of their own. A lot of people don't know that, but the Chinese have a space station of their own. Yeah. It's fully operational up there, okay? And and their ability and their technical ability is every bit as good or maybe even surpasses us. So, this whole talk about this, privacy and stealing data and infrastructure and all that, it's a bunch of hogwash. Okay. I mean, back in the 60s, when they did U-2 flights, okay, they were able to get, quote unquote, they said you could see a match lighting a cigarette from 80,000 feet. All right. So, I mean,
folks, if it's not hogwash, send us all the hard copy data of all the spying incidents or whatever. Send us a hard copy of all the evidence. That the DJI drones are sending sensitive data back to Chinese military. Just show me it on paper.
Show me the money, okay? Yeah. Show me the money.
Yeah,
look at Michael's quote.
I have an open mind. If you show me that they have computer rooms filled of footage from my drones or whatever, and the military has it, I'm willing to listen. I do have one thing to say. If they slap that 30% tariff on the Air 4, I'm sticking with the Air 3, Bill. I'm not.
We got the Air 3. We got the Air 3. So, there are ways around that. Okay, because you could probably buy it off of somebody in Canada and have.
I'm going to drive up to Canada. It's not that far. Me and Ted will jump in the car. We'll drive up to Canada. We'll buy.
I'll have somebody at the border just pass it over to me.
Yeah. Or just have a drone flight over the border and drop it. Okay. Yeah. So
maybe our friend Lauren, he could open up a drone store right at the Canadian border, and
right the point where he can almost throw them across the river to me or something. Or what? Hey, Bill, we could take a little Caribbean cruise or whatever right to the Bahamas and pick one up duty free at the duty free shop.
That's right. Well, I saw it. This was too funny. Okay. Completely unrelated. Well, I just want to real quick sidebar. One of my ham radio friends was going on a cruise, okay, and the cruise line he went on, they don't allow you to take ham radios, and really, it's the hand talkie,
right,
it's
right,
walkie talkie, but they're ham radios, and I laugh, and I good friend of mine and stuff. I'm like, who would you talk to anyway? Okay, you can't. Your signal is very limited with your hand talkies. Okay, you're not going to have a repeater to hit. So why would you need it? Okay. Just anyway. All right. All this being said and done. Okay. I think we've hit this pretty good here. Right. Air 4 is going to come sooner rather than later. June is knocking on
the tariff doesn't come with it, Bill.
Yeah. Let's hope a tariff doesn't come with it. And Ron, I really don't think it will. I think this is a lot of smoke and mirrors, a lot of saber rattling. They're trying to get people excited about all this stuff. And then, it'll just die a natural death.
It's more serious than ever. And Bill, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I think it's more serious than ever. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to get into that drone advocacy alliance.
Oh, I agree 100% with that.
Let's do it. Let's make our voices heard.
The big thing with this, and I can't emphasize this enough because I've done it before and it makes a difference, is to call after you fill that form out, which is a good thing. Okay. You need to call, get your phone out, give them a call. Okay. And tell them who you are.
Mr. Stefanik right now.
Yeah. The problem is Ron has to call that Menendez, the guy that was taking all the bribes.
He's too busy in court to take my call.
Yeah. Yeah, he's too busy.
Those gold bars they found in his house. I hope they weren't from the Stefanik or the drone lobbyists or whatever.
Could be. It could be. You don't know.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, on a serious note, can I make an announcement before we get off the air here?
Absolutely.
My good friend Johnny Donefire and I talked today, and Johnny's not happy at all about this FPV drone update stuff. And Johnny wants to go live. We don't think Philly Mike's doing a show tonight, so we're going to pop on shortly. I don't know what channel to be on or exactly what time. Maybe out there wants to hear a deep dive into the FPV updates today and why certain things don't work with other things and whatever. Johnny's got it all covered here, so we're going live someplace or another.
On the Fly for Fun channel, I'm quite sure.
On the Fly for Fun channel, as soon as Johnny can get it all set up.
This is, again, I'm posting this, and I want to thank John for putting this in there.
Yes.
There's the link for droneadvocacyalliance.com. It's very self-explanatory, very easy to fill out. Please go out there. If you haven't done that, guys, if you do anything tonight, if you got one thing out of this show, go ahead, click on that link, fill out the form. It does it automatically, okay? There's really nothing for you to do. And I believe it will have your congressman's or congresswoman's phone number there. Call them up tomorrow, okay? And voice your concern.
So, Bill, let me expand on that a little bit. Does it help to put like a more personal note in there? In other words, explaining, hey, I'm a hobbyist drone flyer.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I said, I said, I'm a part one, I mentioned I'm a Part 107 pilot, and I have a YouTube channel with a show on every week, okay? And, I hit hundreds of people on a weekly basis, and I try to educate them about drones and about using drones for good. And, this is something I worded it. It was just a couple of sentences, but I added my own personal touch in there. And for those of you who don't want to do that, that's fine. But chances are really good if you add, Marcus brought up a great point here. If you add your own personal touch, say, my name is Bill, I'm a Part 107 pilot. I also have a weekly show called Rotor Talk Live, where we go over all the top subjects in the drone industry right now. We focus on hobbyists. That's have a tendency what we have to focus on here. And it's a wonderful hobby, and it's also a very helpful hobby because it also has led to first responders, being able to rescue and save people through this. So, I flavored it something along those lines.
Right,
but if you can do that, do that. Okay. Okay, what I thought I'd like to do would be to go ahead and do a walkthrough on Drone Advocacy Alliance's website of the two bills that are being pending before Congress, so you can go ahead and voice your opinion. Now, down here, there are two of them. You can see Tell Congress Oppose the DFR Act, and the other one is Oppose the Countering CCP Drones Act. We'll go ahead and click on that link first, and then what it will do, it'll take you to this box, and it gives you an explanation about what the bill is about. And then it helps give you some guidance on composing your own message. And you would, and the subject's already here, and the message body is here. What you would want to do with that message that you compose would be to go ahead and insert it here. Probably, I would suggest maybe before this last line that says, again, please oppose HR 2864. Thank you. You go ahead and put your personal information here, your first name, last name, email address, mobile number if you wanted to get text updates, and then home address. And then it will go ahead, and once you hit send message, this will go ahead and send this to your congressman in the district in which you live in. Okay. Now, the other part of this is the First Responders Act. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that. This is new. This just came out. Okay. And it's very similar. The form's very similar, although one of them goes to your congressman, your representative. The other one goes to United States senators for your state. Okay. So again, here there's a message body, and you would go ahead and whatever additional items you would want to use, go ahead and insert that in here, and you would do the same down here for this one. And again, fill out your name, your email address, mobile number if you want to get text updates, and street address, and send that message. It's really that easy. In addition, today, I also called my congressman up and I spoke with a staff member there to let them know that I oppose the Countering CCP Drones Act, and I asked that the congressman do so as well. So again, this is a walkthrough on going ahead and contacting your congressman for not only opposing the DFR Act, but opposing the CCP Countering Drones Act as well. Question of the day. What did you think of DJI drone ban update? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, it's a great day to fly.